1941, Ian Fleming created Operation GoldenEye for the British Naval Intelligence, which was a plan that was not able to unfold. Since it was not used in war, he was able to name his Jamaican beach house after it, which, according to famousauthors.org, is where he wrote most of his literary pieces. Ian Fleming created and popularized the world of fictional espionage and was able to use that to marvel the cinematic and modern world. His whole life credited towards making this new genre. Ian Lancaster Fleming was born May 28, 1908 in London, England, to Valentine and Evelyn Fleming, a higher class family. Valentine's wealth came from being the son of one of the most, according to IanFleming.com, one of the most successful merchant bankers of the day. Valentine was a soldier for the British Army, and in the World War I, the war to end all wars, he was killed on the Western Front. Perhaps to get away from the war scene, Ian was sent to boarding school for high school at Eton College, and to then maybe move on to the military like his father before him. He was sent to Sandhurst, one of the top military schools in the area at the time. War and military had been a part of Ian's life, but it did not seem like he wanted to be a soldier like his father. Although he went to military school and graduated in 1929, he then became a journalist, a banker, and a stockbroker. And he sold millions of bonds before he made millions off of writing a book about a guy named Bond. 10 years into those jobs, he was pushed into service in the British Naval Intelligence because of World War I, where he worked his way up the ranks and became Admiral John Godfrey's assistant. According to CIA.gov, Godfrey sent him to meet with Colonel Wild Bill Donovan to work on the blueprint for something that would become the predecessor to the CIA. Biography.com notes how during the war, Fleming learned the ins and outs of espionage, and he was privy to much of Britain's efforts to win the war. He traveled overseas several times, including visits to the United States to coordinate intelligence operations, such as the one mentioned before. Fleming's life as an agent and military intelligence officer gave him a story to tell. In 1953, after his service for the BNI, he wrote a book, Casino Royale. The protagonist was a spy by the name of James Bond. That book, the first and only of its kind, sparked the interest for spy literature. James Bond. The name comes from the author of a book about bird watching, one of Fleming's hobbies. And aside from the spy literature that Ian is known for and the spy work that he did, he also wrote a children's book for his only son Casper, who did not want to read his dad's boring adult spy books, which is Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. This book and a number of other Fleming's books have been made into movies in the more modern times. Characters in the novels are believed to have been based off of people that Ian Fleming knew. Q, short for Quartermaster, is Bond's gadget guy. He creates incredible weapons and good cars for Bond to drive. Geoffrey Boothroyd, a firearm expert and a close friend of Fleming's, is who this character was based off of. There are other characters as well that are thought to maybe have influenced some of the characters in the book, but this is one of the only ones that is confirmed. He was Fleming's real-life gadget guy when Fleming was doing covert operations, and also gave him ideas for his novels. James Bond's code name 007 is also historical. The 00 prefix refers to being classified, highly classified, and it refers to James Bond's availability to use his license to kill. and 007 could signify the highest achievement of British military intelligence, just like Bond is in the novels. Ian Fleming knew the impact that he could have by producing some literature about such a captivating topic. Although he was sworn to secrecy under the British Naval Intelligence, he was able to use generic names and concepts to produce literature about covert operations. No one had ever produced literature of this kind, which made it so revolutionary. Fleming wanted to leave an impact on society, entertain the world, and to create the spy genre. His life ended on August 12, 1964, but the impact his life had on his writing, and that his writing has had on the world, will last forever.